I have a question for you that I don't think anybody's really asked when it comes to real estate. What does faith and having faith have to do with real estate? And how does having faith help you be successful in your real estate journey? On this episode of The Pursuit of Home, we're going to find out.
But this is my house, Mommy. The one I asked Mr. Springer for. It is. I know it is.
Welcome to The Pursuit of Home, coming to you from New York City. This is real people buying real estate and their unique journey to get there. We share the tips, tricks, and frameworks to help you navigate the bumps in the road that you won't see on reality TV or social media, and which no one has talked about until now. I'm Scott Harris, and this is The Pursuit of Home. Welcome back. Today, I wanted to bring on Elizabeth Gleason, who's a realtor in Grapevine, Texas, to talk all about her faith and how it informs her real estate practice. Now, what does this have to do with you as a buyer and how you're going to be successful finding a home? Well, you have a choice. You can either think about this scary thing, this buying something, the biggest investment of your life, as this transaction, or you can choose to think about it as something much bigger. And what I believe and what I want to keep reinforcing, different guests that I bring on the podcast, is that the best brokers out there, the best real estate agents, realtors, whatever you call them in your market, they're thinking about this as something much bigger, not just a transaction, but a transition. And so Elizabeth and I talk about what it means to have faith, both in real estate, but more importantly, how does being a person of faith inform the way you run your real estate practice? And we're going to talk about that with Elizabeth right after the break. Welcome back to the podcast. We get agents and buyers from all over the country. And today we're not visiting someone who's also freezing cold in New York, but actually coming to us from the Dallas area. Is that right?
That's right.
So I want to welcome Elizabeth Gleason to the podcast. Elizabeth, how are you doing?
I'm good, Scott. Thank you so much for having me today. We're actually having a little bit of a snow day in Dallas, Texas. So unlike other areas in the country, we completely shut down for snow.
Right. It becomes like a national, like a local emergency.
It really does.
Well, I wanted to bring you on today to have a conversation that I don't think happens a lot as it relates to real estate. And that specifically is being a person of faith.
Yes.
And what I've found for a lot of buyers is that people are religious. They're religious of lots of different backgrounds, and they have deep, abiding faiths. And then real estate happens. But before we get into it, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business in Grapevine, Texas, which is near Dallas?
Yes. So Grapevine is an adorable community and suburb on the outskirts of Dallas, well known for its downtown Main Street. We're close to the airport. I get to serve a lot of families, a lot of first-time home buyers, and my business is based on referrals. In my sphere, I have a lot of friends and family who trust me with their business. We do like Grapevine because of the location and the great schools, and it's very community and family friendly.
Texas is known for two things. One is Friday night football and mega churches.
That's right.
And I think we're going to probably skip the football part, although I could talk about football. But you're a person of faith, Elizabeth. And I just want to understand, as a real estate agent, how does that play out in your working life in real estate?
So in my experience with clients, I'm very public and open about my faith. And I am the kind of believer that I will show by example, and I'm going to spread that love and that kindness and that generosity to everyone, of all walks of life. So how it plays out in my business is I operate with genuine kindness first. So in my opinion, I think taking care of that client, that relationship, supersedes any financial gain that might come my way. The way that I'm able to give back is by serving my community, whether that be with my time or my finances. And I have found some clients who may not know about my faith, but because of the way I've treated them in conversations, they will let me know that they believe, and they'll actually ask me if they can pray for me, and they'll send me sweet messages. So I feel like it just radiates. And I'm, very proud to say that I have a lot of clients who will start that conversation before I even have a chance to.
A lot of things happen in real estate, as we know. It's almost inevitable. And a lot of people have faith, but then the rubber meets the road in real estate, and they seem sometimes for all of that to go out the window.
Right.
So why do you think that is? And how do you help bring faith back into the conversation when things inevitably go wrong for buyers?
I think we're so quick to anger, and we're so quick to look at the negative over the positive. So something that I try to do is, bring them back to the center and remind them of their why. Why did we start this process in the beginning? Something that I say a lot, if it's meant to be, it will be. So if for some reason the transaction is not working out in the best way, or we meet a seller or another agent who just aren't the easiest people to work with, I have to remind my clients, like, we're going to do the right thing. Even if someone is not doing that right thing for us right now, we've got to stick to our plan. And remember, why were you buying this house in the first place? And if we need to put this one to rest, we will. But it's just, I have to be that temperature and that gauge, if you will, that helps everyone stay calm. And I'm not saying that's easy for me to do most times, especially if I have an agent who is not being as cooperative. But it's just remaining calm and reminding them that there's an end goal and an end purpose. And if it's not right now, we're going to get there.
Can you give us an example? Because I think a lot of people out there are listening and they're going, give me a break, Scott. Like stuff like it's a real estate transaction and everybody's out to get theirs, and real estate agents, come on, man. People are, they're just the worst. They're lower than meter maids and tow truck drivers. I kind of want to, because I know this is true. And I know that agents are holding down, holding the center here when deals are going sideways, and encouraging people to take the high road and not to misbehave, even if they're in a big town like New York, where everything is arm's length and you may not ever see this person again. There are good agents who are telling their clients, hey, would you want this written about you on the front of the New York Times? The behavior that you're about to do, or what the right thing to do here is. Let's do the right thing. So do you have an example of when things have gone kind of sideways that you've advised a client of what to do, and really like that it worked out? Well, however it worked out, it was for the best.
I have a couple of examples. So I recently helped a 72-year-old client sell and buy for the very first time. Her sister had given her a house, and she was a first-time seller and then a first-time buyer. So we're under contract on this house. It's contingent on the sale of her house. We were having a tough time selling it. And she was frustrated. She was defeated. She was discouraged. We did the inspection. We went through the entire process. We negotiated everything. She had become good friends with the seller. We had to pull out of that contract. We were able to find her another house 4 months later during this process that she was not very trusting of. We sold her house. She had to get a storage, live with family, a very big inconvenience during the holidays, but she remained grounded and she trusted the process. We ended up putting her into a home that cost significantly less, that she now has additional money to make updates and move into, and she's really happy about it. On the other side of that, I've had a buyer who is purchasing a home from the sellers who were not the easiest to work with, didn't want to make any repairs. The listing agent was difficult to get a hold of. And sometimes I have to tell them to walk away from it, and they've got to let it go. And that's okay, because we're not going to continue to put up a fight if someone's really not in a position or ready to sell that house. But I just have to remind my clients that people selling their homes and other agents are human beings too. And there could be an emotional connection attached to that house that maybe they don't want to sell it after all, and they just don't know it yet.
Yeah, that's people totally forget that they're not the only people who are human beings in the middle of a transaction.
Yeah,
And
it's true.
the thing I didn't bring up when I was talking about, hey, would you want it written about in the New York Times or, on the front page or have you run into the person on the other side of your transaction at the grocery store? The thing that people also forget is, would you want to tell your kids about what you did in a transaction? I have 3 kids. They know what I do. It's not that hard to understand the ins and outs of real estate. And I think you have 4 kids. Is that
I
right?
have 4 kids. Yes.
So at some point they start to wonder what mom does, what dad does. And when you hear, it's not like we go home and we badmouth the clients we work with, but we certainly, they understand when mom and dad are having a tough day sometimes and trying to take the high road. I guess the question I have, because I don't think people realize that it's like being a therapist or being like a pastor or a rabbi or whatever. We are the confidants and the arm and the ear of people going through what can be the most stressful thing that they go through, a big transition, one of the most stressful transitions there are. How do you use your faith for yourself just to kind of keep your head on straight and to kind of reset and get to the next day? Because you need to show up as your best self to your clients.
I do. That's a great question that I practice. So I come home, I have a wonderful fiance who understands I have a very stressful job. And the second I walk in the door, I think he can tell by my body language if it's been a good day or not a good day. But I always try to remember that I've been productive today. These are the things I accomplished. There are other things that I have to work on, and I'll figure it out. I definitely had to set some clear boundaries about turning my phone off at a certain time so that I can just unwind and show up as my best self the next day. So when I walk in the door, I really take that time to practice being intentional and present. So sometimes I'll have to work, sometimes I don't. I try to save the difficult conversations for the next day. And I will, in the morning, at night when I go to bed, I'll say my prayers. But in the morning, I will just ask God to use me and to help me show up as my best self for those who need me. I thank him for the gift that I can give people, and that's helping them with a real estate transaction. I have also worked for free before, because when some agents will say no to one person because they can't pay them for their services, this is a gift that I have and a gift that I can do for someone else and bless them in that way. So I go to the gym in the morning. That's my me time. I have dinner at the same time every night with my fiance. And then I just ask the Lord to use me in the best way that I can.
I don't even know where to start with that. It's such a beautiful thing. I mean, the question I have for people listening is that the kind of agent that you would want on your side? And then the question I have follow for you, Elizabeth, is how long have you been an agent?
14 years.
14 years. And when you find pro bono clients, and you very early on in this, we were talking about, how you serve your clients. Has your business grown more in the years that you do these gifts that you give out in our service?
Absolutely. It has. In fact, there was always, I don't want to say there was always, but there was a fear once upon a time that if I don't work every day for 16 hours a day, how am I going to be successful? Do I get to take a Sabbath day? Do I get to take off? Can I make time for me, for going to church, for spending with my family? I don't know. What if I miss a phone call? When I noticed that I would set aside a time, to take care of myself, to be here for my family, it's okay to go to church and turn your phone off on Sunday mornings. I'm not missing out on anything. It's having this abundance mindset. And it's funny that you use the word pro bono, because I was advised by management, not by my broker, he's wonderful, that I should never work for free. And my broker knows my heart. And I said, if I can help this person, think about how many people I can help who have heard no so many times. You can't afford to pay commission. I'll work for free because I can help you. And what is that costing me? A couple of hours. That's a gift that I can give to someone. The number of referrals that have come from those clients I know that I have developed a lifelong friendship and trust with them, and they know the kind of person that I am. And it just speaks true to the message that I try to tell people. Yes, we all have to make a living and support our families in some way, shape, or form. But if I can make a difference in the process and be an example to those around me, then that is what I'm here for. And I'm doing what I'm called to do.
It's a really beautiful message, Elizabeth. And
Thank you.
for those people out there who are like, oh, this is a really wonderful agent, I want to give you listeners something to think about that applies to you. Because so many buyers, and I've had them, and I'm sure Elizabeth's had them too. It's all about push, push, push and grind. And I got to send my agent 1,000 listings, even though you've started on the right foot with your agent and you know that they have their best interests at heart. You've spent some time finding somebody that you know really cares. And yet there's that part of you that like keeps looking through Zillow, keeps forwarding those emails. And it's like, what am I not seeing? What am I missing out on? FOMO. Oh my God, I'm going to miss the perfect listing. And it's like this grind. You feel like it's like slowly constraining you. That's not the mindset that I think is the most constructive as a buyer out there, even in a place, okay, there's no inventory. What if you shift it? What if you totally flip the script and be like, everything is happening for a reason. I've got an amazing agent who cares about me. This is going to be perfect exactly as it plays out. And I'm going to find this home that's the best possible home for me, and not get into this scarcity set of frame of mind. That's what Elizabeth is encouraging, how she's running her business. Mm-hmm. Elizabeth, how you're running your business. And that's why I wanted to have you on, because I think you're so emblematic of what the best agents are doing out there, and then how it applies to buyers. Yeah. Really, really, I promise you, if you believe and have faith that this is going to work out, your result is going to be so much better. You're going to have a house that serves you
right
more than any house you're going to, just grind it out to find the house.
Exactly. That is so true. And just to piggyback on what you have said, I had young clients who were living with families saving. We probably wrote 16 offers and got 16 no's. And I said, guys, stick with me. If you don't mind living with your family, keep living there, keep saving. We are going to find a house. It took us 1.5 years, and we found a house, and they closed. They've celebrated their first year in their home. And it's just that testament to, you know what? We're going to hear 16 no's, but somebody's going to say yes, and your time is coming. And you just have to continue to focus and save and keep your faith and stay invested. And it's those types of clients that at the end of the day will say, thank you so much for sticking with me. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for encouraging, because it's our job to pick them up whenever, they are down. And that's what we're here for.
Well, Elizabeth, thank you for hanging out and having this really important conversation. And if people want to get in touch with you, what's the easiest way to find you in Grapevine, Texas?
I am Elizabeth X. Gleason on Instagram. You can also visit my website at vinehouserealestate.com. And Scott, thank you so much for having me on today. I really am just excited about watching the episode, and I love that you are sharing the word of the Lord and, to all of our faithful people out there. So I hope the audience keeps growing.
Awesome. Thank you again.
Okay.
I don't know if you could see it in my eyes, but when I was listening to Elizabeth talk about some of the work that she was doing with clients for free, I was actually getting choked up. I thought I was going to start crying. In fact, I think I might getting a little teared up right now just thinking about what that even looks like. And I have to say, in 20 years of working in real estate, I've never heard of a real estate agent who would take on a listing pro bono. So I want to tip my hat to Elizabeth and the work that she's doing and the way that she puts it in the context of her faith. I really do feel that people who are inclined to be people of faith, I think they make some of the best real estate agents out there. And why is that? It's because in order to be successful, they have to believe in something, and then they have to go believe in you. that you are going to be successful in this real estate journey. If they don't believe in you, the whole enterprise is sunk before it even starts. And then you need your real estate agent when times get tough, not just to believe in you, but to help you believe in yourself. These are enormous, enormous gifts that real estate agents give their clients. And as you go about this journey, wherever you are, I know that having somebody who really truly believes in you, whatever it takes to get there, that is what's going to help you be successful. The Pursuit of Home is produced by Fina Charlson, by the Moore Network. If you like what you hear, push like on that button. Make sure you subscribe as well. Share this with your friends, and we will see you on the next episode.